everybody, and welcome to Everything Vaguely Paranormal. I'm Shelley Pruitt, and my partners in the paranormal, Mr. Blake Smith and Mr. Ryan Roberts. Good evening, gentlemen.
What's up?
Good evening.
I tell you, I am ready for this
Dracula.
because I'm ready for this because Ryan, you and I have gone down and participated in what's been going on at the Olde Park Hotel.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Blake, you're going to be joining this weekend. We're going to be talking tonight about the restoration of the Olde Park Hotel. The Olde Park Hotel has brand new owners, and we are so excited. They are people who are very interested in restoring not only the building, but the history and the correct history of the building, and making sure that it becomes a place where you want to go and you want to be because the spirits want you there. So you guys know one of our guests, and I believe you're going to get to talk to this guest, I believe, for the first time. We're going to introduce to you the new owners of the Olde Park Hotel, our friends Chad and Leslie Wandel. So hi, you guys. Welcome back, Chad. Welcome on, Leslie. How are you?
We're good. We're good.
Yeah,
a little
super
tired.
excited to be here.
Yay. Well, I'll tell you first and foremost, I am so sorry that you guys did not get to announce your ownership the way that you wanted to. We had seen your countdown clock saying you were going to announce it on Friday the 13th, and unfortunately that got jumped. So I'm very sorry about that, but I got to tell you, I am beyond happy that you guys are the new owners. We've kind of been with you through this process, because you're our friends. We've been listening to kind of some of the trials and tribulations you've been going through. So tell us, what's it like to own a haunted venue?
So far, it's a little crazy.
Exhausting, but
because for those that don't know, we live in Dallas, Fort Worth, so it's a 3-hour hike out there for us, and we've kind of been making that trek. Like I go down usually on like Wednesday or Thursday morning, and I stay all the way to Monday.
I leave after work on Friday and head out there and stay till Sunday night and come back.
Yes, correct. She works at the hospital. I get some flexibility because I work from home, so where I have internet is great, which is why the first thing that got done, literally, Shelley, you were there day one.
I was.
Fiber internet, let's go.
It works fantastically too.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of my favorite things. Because we go to so many locations, with those people who come to these haunted locations that have followings, that want to see you do live streams, they want to see you do investigations. Right. Sometimes when you get into the bowels of these locations, like you can't get signal, and it's so tough.
Yeah, in Olde Park is that way because
the back half is all concrete.
Yeah, the back half is all concrete walls. It's all cinder block and hand thrown plaster. So. Right. You get in there and you've got this metal lapping that's over that the plaster's been put on roof, walls, and ceilings. You're basically in a Faraday cage, which is what's crazy. It's like you're literally in a Faraday cage. And so signal just doesn't want to travel there. So I was actually kind of telling you guys backstream today, all the technology stuff arrived. So we've got all wireless access points, the enterprise switches, the door systems, the cameras, all of that. All of it's here and it's ready to get installed. So
and you can't wait, can you?
I was ready to hop in the car this afternoon when they dropped it off and leave.
He was. Is it okay if I go tonight? I was like, well, there's a group there tonight, so you're not going to be able to get anything.
Like, I might as well get a good night's sleep.
So let's get out there tonight. Be a hero and hosting the group that's there with us for us tonight, so we can be here. But we'll be out there soon.
Yep.
Hell yeah. So, the Olde Park is the devil, like we've been to Olde Park 18,000 times. It's a place that is near and dear to our hearts. Now, you guys get the keys in your hands. That first day you walk in, what are you feeling? Like, what are you thinking when you first walk into the building?
Oh gosh. I mean, we actually put out a little video of us opening the door for the first time, and I'll tell you, we walked in.
You noticed that as soon as we opened the door, we cut the video and went to the next day.
We had some surprises. So
it's the building has come with its own set of challenges, and we are working diligently to overcome those. We knew that the first night we got in, we only had about an hour until a group that had already rented the venue was set to arrive. So our priority was just kind of getting our own space settled so that we would have a place to sleep for the night out of their way.
Yeah.
That did not go as planned.
What happened?
We had to get a hotel.
Okay.
Crazy when you buy a hotel and you have to go get a hotel.
Oh man.
So it's just it's I don't know.
There's a
Well,
video.
let me. Okay, so you guys are posting videos about how you're restoring and cleaning and redoing the old park. Where can they go and find those? Because guys, they are posting these every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. New
I'm
videos
obsessed.
about the cleaning process. They are doing it at a time lapse video format. Where can they go find those and watch those, Chad?
Yeah, super easy. It's on YouTube and it's the Old Park Hotel. So just look Old Park Hotel. Can't miss us. Look for that logo. You see that logo? That's us.
And by the way, I love the new. I love it. I love it. I think it's very classy. It's very classic, and it absolutely shows me what you're about to do to this building.
Yeah, and that's kind of the whole thing. We wanted to keep that classic
wanted to bring
style.
back.
Yeah, we wanted to bring back that classic style because we found some old advertisements and stuff like that. And in the 20s, the advertisements were very classic like that. They were very classy.
Right.
It had an elegance to it.
It had an elegance to it.
It wasn't just the Wild West.
And
it was Ballinger was an had a upscale part of town, and the Royalty Hotel or the Royal Hotel Royalty, depending on the publication and the time you read it, and the Park Hotel, which joined together and is now known as the Old Park Hotel. They were the nicer establishments in town.
Sure were. And a lot of people don't know this because there's probably 30 layers of paint on top of it. But that color that's in that logo, the building used to be that color.
That color?
That color.
It was
Wow.
You start peeling back the layers and you're going to find that color.
Oh.
I think it might be a little more.
It's a little lighter than that, but it's not too far off.
It's definitely more kind of a bluish than remove a little bit. But underneath all of the paint that we've been scrubbing off.
Right. Where'd this blue come from? This is perfect.
So I know. I mean, I'm sure we know the answer to this, but I would love to hear y'all's thoughts, and I'm sure some of our listeners would as well. What kind of crazy crackpot idea did you have to have where you were like, I'm going to buy a 150-year plus building that really just needs some restoration done to it? I think Leslie pointing at Chad. I think Leslie pointing at Chad. Go ahead, Chad. Fire away.
It really was kind of one of those things. Like, I remember the very first time I ever went to Olde Park, and it was, I think, 2018.
That was about the first time I went, right around
there. And so the building was in a very different state than it is now. I mean, it was dang near empty when I went the first time. And so I just instantly fell in love with this building. I don't know what it was. Like, it just spoke to me. It called to me. And then over the years, I always kind of joked, and you said, if you guys ever sell this, I better be your first damn phone call. And I was.
It was like 21 was the first time I went with you. And I had the same feeling.
It's got this charm to it that's just
it really does.
Gorgeous. It does. So the way the structure of it, the way it is, its historical aspect of it, it's one of those places that once you go, you're just addicted.
And I understand that it's a haunted venue. I know that it's got its own residence there, but it feels still very homey.
Yeah.
We still feel very comfortable there, even when it's going crazy.
Which it has been. You guys were there. Y'all know what we're talking about.
Well, that leads me to a story, Chad. And I want you to tell it from your perspective. Now, I have not told it because I was waiting for you guys. And this involves a tool that went missing. And do you kind of want to tell them that story? Because I have not told them this story, and you have actually gone back and checked video footage of this. So go ahead and you tell the story.
Wild. So I believe this video goes out tomorrow. It's either tomorrow or Friday.
Yay.
Yeah.
So it's either Monday or Friday's video, but I have you on time lapse. I see you put the pair of pliers.
Well, wait a minute. You and I are the only two there. And I'm pulling shirts off the wall. And I will tell you, there are so many damn staples in that wall. If anybody walks in there with a damn staple gun, I will commit homicide. Because I pulled out
in that one room alone. So
I pulled out probably 1,000 staples out of that wall, one at a time. And as I was pulling them, I think that's being thin.
I pulled out the other 1,500.
Yeah, tell me about it.
So So you were actually
One
working.
room, y'all.
Yeah, Chad was actually working in the lobby, and he was doing some stuff in there. He was setting up some stuff. He was moving some stuff, cleaning up some stuff, and he put me on shirt duty to take all the shirts off the wall at Old Park. And I'm thinking, great, I'll have this knocked out in no time, unless there are 1,000 goddamn staples in every fucking shirt.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm having to pop them. Yeah.
You got somebody
And-
walking in that room with the machine gun staplers like.
Yeah, and so I've got a screwdriver, so I'm prying them up, doing my best not to destroy the shirts and or the wood, and I'm prying them up. Then I have to get these pliers and pull them out. And so Chad comes in the room. We're about to the point where I need furniture moved because I'm climbing on all of these bits of furniture, like like I'm part orangutan, hopping up and over furniture and climbing on stuff. Yeah. So anyway, so Chad comes in, and I don't remember what we were doing, but I set the pliers down. So now go ahead and pick it up, Chad.
So, I mean, long story longer, you set these pliers down for all of 2 seconds. Like you on the video, you can see you using the pliers, but then you had to get a hammer. So you set them down, you grab the hammer, and you pop out a nail. You put the hammer back down, and then you're like, and that's when you call me in. So, and what's crazy is we have this on time lapse, and what's nuts is I make a box right there in front of the camera. My butt covers the camera that fast for that 1 second. And when my butt moves back, they're gone. And Shelly's still right where she was. And she's just like looking around like, where the hell the pliers go? We took every piece of furniture out of that room. We flipped everything over. We checked all the cushions. We we disassembled that room to bare floor. Could not find them. We still don't know where they are to this day. We don't know where these pliers are, which is what's even crazier.
So even all of that, y'all searching for them, undoing the cushions, that's all on film. Like y'all were still recording the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Damn, and y'all still didn't. Okay.
Now,
right.
here's the funny part is that we're trying to figure this out. And I kind of laughed. I said, well, maybe Henry got cranky and wants his tools back. And Chad looks at me and goes, all right. And I said, let's go check. He goes, okay. We go hauling down to Henry's workshop. And this at this point, what is this, about 1:30 in the morning at this point?
Yeah.
And so it's pitch black down the hall into the unfinished portion down by Henry's workshop. So we're flipping on lights as we go, and we get all the way down the end. We flip the light down on Henry's workshop. We look around. We're looking for everything. Cannot find these pliers, not even a set of pliers in Henry's workshop. So we turn off the lights. We're walking back, and we missed a light. Chad's like, oh, shit. I'm like, I'll go get it. So he has to turn on his cell phone so that I have a light because we missed the one halfway down the hall.
And anybody that knows that dark hallway, when the lights are out, you can't see your hand for
It's pitch black.
Yeah.
So Chad holds the light so I can see to come down the hall because, of course, there's debris and crap in the hallway. And so he's making sure I don't fall over anything. So we come out, we close the door to block off the unfinished portion from the finished portion of the hotel. We go back, we sit down, we cannot figure this out. We start looking again. And Chad was like, man, Henry, give me back my tools. And then he started thinking that the tool.
Wait a minute. I got that set of pliers out of a toolbox I found underneath the front desk in the lobby. Maybe those are Henry's tools.
Yeah.
So I went back into the little side room and I was like, nope, here are mine. Like they got rubber handles, and the ones we're looking for are a little bit longer than mine. They don't have the rubber in because they're just solid steel pliers. So old school 1940s pliers.
So anyway, we look for these pliers for another hour, and after that, we give up. We're like, screw it, let's do something else. We're finally, what was it, about 2:30? We're like, screw this, we're going to bed. Tired of this.
Yeah.
I'm tired.
Clearly, the building's telling us we're done for today.
Yeah, the building was telling us to knock it off. Get up the next morning. Chad comes down the stairs. I'm coming down probably 5-6 seconds behind you.
Yeah,
and as I walk past the front door, I look at Chad. I'm like, whoa, wait. I go, hey, did you unlock this door? And he's like, no, I haven't been out. And I'm looking, and the door is completely unlocked.
Wild.
Now we had checked
They
it.
locked it before they went to bed.
Yeah, we made sure to make it locked because we're like, we're the only ones here, so let's make sure this door is locked. We won't be able to hear it from upstairs. So I'm like, Shelly, do you agree it's locked? Yes, it's locked. I can see the deadbolt. Yank, 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 turn. It's locked. So
that was the first thing that was weird.
Woke up and the door was unlocked.
Yeah.
And the OCD brain that Chad and I both have, I sat down in the common room and I went, where those damn pliers are.
And the pliers.
Yeah.
Now that there's
And I was
daylight,
like,
let's go find them.
I was like, let's go see if they got put back in Henry's workshop. Let's see if maybe Henry put them back in there. We go and we open up the door to the unfinished portion, and at the end of the hall, the light in Henry's workshop is turned on. And we know for a fact.
We stopped dead in our tracks, looked at each other, and went, bullshit.
I went, did you do that? I'm going, did you? He's like, no, he goes, you came
You were the
down
last
like
one
2
out,
seconds
Kelly.
after me. And I was like, are you? I'm like, no. I'm like, we turned it. He goes, yeah, we turned it off. And I know we turned it off. So what else have you had going on there where that's concerned?
Oh,
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, day one, I was using the shop back in the front lobby, and the ladies that had the place rented, they had gone to dinner, and so I see these feet step off the front staircase, and so I was like, oh crap, I'm in the way. So I take a little side step, and they don't move. So I was like, okay. So I look up to acknowledge them, and my brain just started turning, going, but they went to dinner. When did she get here? I don't remember her coming yet. And then it hit me. That's a ghost. And they said they could hear me on their recorder. I went, this woman just goes, hi there, and vanished. I was like, oh my God. Like literally first night there that happened. So
hold on, wait. Go a little more detail here. You turn, so you see them step off the steps, is what you're saying.
Like somebody come down the steps. So I thought it was one of them stayed behind.
So he's in the lobby vacuuming, facing that door into the hallway where the steps are. So he's in the lobby,
and that curtain's down, so I can't see all the way through. I can see through maybe like 6 inches of space.
And so he sees somebody step off the steps and standing in that doorway.
And so I kind of scooted over because I thought I was in their way. So I'm like trying to let them by, but they don't go by me. And so I stopped doing this and I look up like.
So what are you seeing when you look up? Are you seeing a full-fledged woman standing there?
And solid too. She's not like see-through. She is solid. I honestly thought it was a real person. It took me 10 good seconds of eye-to-eye contact. Like, who the hell are you? When did you get here? Till my brain goes, hey, dumbass. I was like, whoa, okay, hi. Like, it's literally like a Tom and Jerry moment. Like,
and was that Wednesday night? Was that Wednesday night that happened, Chad?
Friday night. That was that first Friday night, no, Friday the 13th.
No, it was not. It was the Saturday.
That was Friday night. No, because they went to dinner.
That's right. They went to dinner. I was at Walmart getting.
Yep, you went to Walmart to go do some cleaning stuff.
So your first big hoorah there was a full-fledged, solid ghost on Friday the 13th.
On Friday. Now what's crazy is this person that I saw, I don't think anybody's ever described her there before. So
really,
she didn't look like the one me and my mom saw all the way in the back hallway. She looked like she was probably in her late 20s or early 30s. She had her hair half down, half up in a bun, and she was just in kind of a dress, and it was nothing special dress.
Okay, hold on. What color hair?
It was dark, so like either black or brown, dark brown.
Okay, what did the dress? Because so far you were on point with what I have seen.
Her dress was just, it was a slightly low cut, but not like, look at my but and then it just had some like lacy around the neck. The shoulders weren't really poofy, but they were kind of stood up like she had shoulder pads or something under them. But I don't think that was a thing. It was like half sleeve, and then it just kind of went down to her waist and just flowed. I mean, it just looked like a very natural dress.
Light color, dark color.
It was light color. The dress was kind of like creamy white. I mean, it was weird.
Okay, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that I have seen her.
Okay,
I don't know why. So let me tell you exactly what I experienced. And the very interesting part is that it happened at the very top of the stairs, not at the bottom of the stairs. Ooh. So I go upstairs. We're getting ready to leave one time, and I don't remember how many times ago this was, but I go upstairs because I'm looking for Shelly and Ryan and making sure that we've got everything that we need. I get to the very top landing. I'm standing at the top landing just outside Preston's parlor, right there at the corner where the little short hallway comes off. It's top of the landing, and I turn real quick to my right, and I see this woman standing. You know how the two rooms join together right there?
Yep.
So she's in the other room, but I'm looking through the door Preston Parlor. So through both doors, I'm looking through the main door and the conjoining door, and she's standing in the other room, and she is hair half down, half up in a bun, just as you described, dark hair, white dress, and she's turned to the side, and she turns her head to the left and just glances at me. And I'm in the middle of kind of turning at the same time to go back down the stairs. So I glance back real quick to look back in that room. She's gone. And I'm like, the hell was that? But she was in a white creamy colored dress that was real flowy with lacy stuff around the neck. And then I go to turn back to go down the stairs. I turn back to go down the stairs. And as my eyes get to the landing right there to the staircase, she's standing on the other side of the staircase looking back at me from across the staircase, right in front of the pink room at the very front of the building.
Yeah.
And I look at her, and again, I look down the stairs, and I notice her just as I'm looking down. I pop my head back up. She's gone. And she was as solid as we are on the screen right now.
See, and the one that me and my mom saw there, she was kind of translucent, like you could see through her.
Mm-hmm.
This woman was a person. There, I mean, your brain goes, that's not a ghost. That's a person.
And
I will say that I've seen her.
And that's too the first time we ever went there. First time I ever went was the night that we all dressed up in Wild West attire to kind of stir some things up.
Yeah.
And I was sitting in Preston's parlor, and I was sitting on the bed, and I was looking down, and I was tying my shoe, and I saw somebody walk down the hallway. I thought it was one of ours, and that person had dark hair and like a white dress on. So it could be the same person.
Hollered for me, Ryan. You said, Shelley, did you just walk past that door? And I said, well, I'm in here.
Right. Because I thought it was one of our people. So that could be her too. Like, cause she, dark hair, white dress going that way. So
that's cool.
But you know what, Chad, that wasn't the only apparition you've seen since y'all have taken over the building. And it was on.
Yeah. Cause I had to pick up the job where Shelley could not.
Where I couldn't reach. You got what I couldn't reach.
Right. Getting
about 4 foot off the ground. Ryan had to take over.
Right. I had to get, I mean, even I had to get on a freaking ladder because some of them were so freaking high up.
Yeah.
And I was up there with the flathead, trying not to damage the wood, trying to pop the damn umpteen staples out of every shirt on the wall. And I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, did they have stock in a fucking staple company? I'm trying to pull the staples out. And I'm up there, and so I can see into the kitchen where that swinging door is, and then there's the doorway that goes into the hallway. And I'm popping the staples out of the t-shirt above the door. And as I'm looking up, I can see out of my peripheral vision, a blonde-headed woman walks in and looks up at me like that while I'm on the ladder. And so I look down and there's nobody there. Now, and then cause I was asking, I thought maybe it was one of y'all, but it wasn't one of y'all because y'all were on the other side of the building doing something and y'all hadn't even come in there.
No,
we were in the owner's suite.
That's right.
Y'all were. But then, Chad, you saw her later on that night, right?
When that other group came in Saturday night, we were sitting there, and I was sitting on the couch against the back wall, so you off to my right, you could see there, and I just saw come in from that side kitchen door, and she just walked. I was like, "The hell?"
Mm-hmm. And she was wearing white too, was she not?
She sure was. Was.
Interesting.
And then Leslie, you had.
Well, you and I had been cleaning the kitchen Sunday, and then you left, and probably 45 minutes to an hour after you left, I was in the corner over by the oven and stove and the popcorn machine and microwave, and I was detailing that area. And I finally got to the point where I felt it was safe to take my ventilator, my mask off. And so I took that off, and I was just kind of wiping my face down with a paper towel and getting a sip of water. And from the door that leads to the hallway, the back hallway, I hear, "Who are you?" Just the woman's voice. I'm the only other woman in the building. I turned real slow. Nobody's there.
Your eyes were super big, and you kind of turned.
He immediately started recording.
Yeah. I was doing a time lapse, but the time lapse doesn't record audio.
Yeah.
So I immediately got my phone. And I was like, "Hey guys,
who are you?"
And my eyes are
they're like this big.
I'm like,
and then too, me and you were talking about the door being open, Shelly. Like you and Leslie were downstairs cleaning the kitchen, and me and Chad went upstairs to kind of patch some holes in some areas in the building. And me and Chad were in the we were in the 50-50 room, the yellow room, and we were in the bathroom
there,
patching up. And Chad, you can vouch for this. We hear footsteps
we thought
going down the hallway.
Like, what do y'all want for lunch?
Right. I mean, because it goes straight down the hallway, and you can hear the doorknob turn on Preston's parlor. I mean, sorry, on the wildflower room, and the door open, and I immediately walk out into the hallway, and that door had been closed when we went up there, and it's standing wide ass open.
Yeah. It was crazy. I mean, I thought for sure you guys were coming in to ask us something. Like we stopped and we're like, yeah, what? And then nothing. Ryan's like, who back there?
It's like,
so you came down to ask us if we had come upstairs, and we're like, no, we're elbow deep in
crap.
No.
Yeah.
I need to go back and look at the video for that, because we might have caught that on video, because we weren't rolling time lapse, we were rolling full video. So,
that's right. We were rolling.
That'll be cool to try
I think
and see.
we got that on camera. Not the door opening, but you can hear like
the footsteps.
So,
Yeah.
I was standing on the bathtub, and I'm like, so we just run down the damn hallway?
That's one of the most common things I think I've heard about Olde Park, and it's exciting to know that the little things like that are becoming more prominent again and happening again, because it seems like the more that we went over the last, I would say, year or so, some of that stuff seemed to be tampering down, or they weren't really wanting to show themselves that way.
Yeah.
But these full-bodied apparitions that we're talking about, this used to be a very common occurrence, and so for me,
it used to be very common.
I'm very excited.
You went to the Olde Park, you were capturing some pretty cool evidence, and it seemed like it kind of started, like you said, dwindling down.
And so it's the footsteps is what it, because I've experienced those too as well in the middle of the night. When lots
of footsteps,
like nobody else is awake, everybody's in bed, and you just hear the boot falls hitting the hardwood floor outside. And you're like, I'm not. That's when you lay in the bed and you just, wide eyed, and you're like, yeah, if I got to pee, I'm just peeing right here in this bed. I'm not getting up to do that.
Well, that's like poor Chad had a medical emergency, and I had to stay there. So
second weekend was such a crazy weekend.
Now wait, though.
Right.
Wait a minute.
I'm out. I think the building knew that was coming.
Yeah.
Because
you're right.
some very coincidental stuff happened, and I don't think it was a coincidence. I'm not a big believer in coincidence. I think the building knew it was coming, and it was trying to help.
The building.
You know what? I agree with you, because the chain of events that led to that night of Ryan being by himself, I had to leave because I was going to work the next day. The one thing I brought my computer. The one thing I couldn't have gone home without was my computer. Yep. I get an hour from home and I realized I don't have my computer. Now, right before I'd left, Leslie had asked, "Are you going to stay, Ryan?" Well, Ryan had a date and he canceled it. Because he said, well, if you're going to go home, I don't want Chad to be by himself. And he goes, just in case something happens. And Ryan specifically said like a wasp or something.
Like I had a feeling it was going to get something was crazy was going to happen. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to stay.
Well, you said that earlier in the day, Ryan. You were like, it feels like the energy in here is really ramping up big. I don't want Chad to be here by himself tonight.
Right. And so
somehow later on in the day, I said something along the lines of, well, my biggest fear is Chad being here by himself and having a medical emergency and there not being anybody to help him, or him not being able to get to his EpiPen or whatever.
And that's why Ryan was like, yeah, I'm going to stay. And that was actually before I left, because I was there for that part of the conversation.
Hang on. And before you continue this, I'm going to ask Chad something. Do y'all possibly have a microphone or something y'all can plug in? Because there's our voices coming in are cutting y'all's words pretty good.
Okay. No, but I can turn this way down.
I was going to say, maybe while Shelly's telling her story.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead, Shelly. I just want to make sure everybody's hearing Chad and Leslie.
Is this any better?
Yeah, that's actually a little bit better.
Yeah, we can hear you better. So that was the whole thing, was that, Ryan was going to stay and Leslie was going to go home. So I make a phone call to Ryan and say, oh my God, go in there, walk straight in. Is my computer there? Ryan says, yep, it's exactly where I left it. So I'm like, well, I have to come back. I have to turn around. I'll come get it. And Ryan says, well, Leslie's going home. I'll have her meet you. Okay, no big deal. I call back in a few minutes and Ryan says, never mind. She's going to take Chad to the hospital. He's not feeling well. And I was like, okay. I said, I have to come back either way. So I went back to the building. I got back to the building. Ryan is now there by himself. So here he was. I was going to leave. Ryan was going to leave. Leslie was going to leave. Chad was going to be alone. Funny how the one thing I can't leave without, I forgot. Ryan had a date that he canceled. Leslie was going to leave, and the only way to keep Leslie there is if something was going on with Chad. That was an odd chain of coincidences that happened
for almost 24 hours.
for another 24 hours. And so that was very interesting because I agree with you, Chad. I don't think it was just a random chain of events. I think that the building was like, nah, y'all stay one more night and let me convince you.
I don't want y'all to leave, or hey, something's gonna happen with this dude. Y'all all need to hang around.
Well, I mean, it did it the same. Right. It did something similar the first weekend we were there when my car wouldn't start.
Y'all
just posted that video, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I have no explanation for this. Like, we got home and I went through my car to see if maybe a mouse had chewed through a cable. Had my battery checked, had my starter checked, had my alternator checked. I had all this stuff checked. I put my car in the shop the minute I got home and was like, what's going on? Nothing. Car came back fine. But we were trying to leave and Leslie
it was the Friday the 13th was our first day there in June.
This was the 15th.
So this was the 15th, that Sunday afternoon, or probably about 7 o'clock in the evening. We're trying to leave. We have loaded up all the trash in the car, in the trunk of the car. We drive it around to the back, put it all in the dumpster, come back to the front, go in, get our suitcases, our overnight bags, load them up, lock up the building, get in the car, and the car won't start.
Won't start at all. Won't even try. Like, it didn't go where. It just went click, click.
Dash light came on, and it just went click. So we're like, okay. So we turn the dash lights off, try again, click, nothing.
So I tried that like 5 or 6 times. I'm like, damn it. Call AAA, get them started. We know it's going to take like 2 hours to get out here.
Yeah.
So I get out of the car and throw the hood up. And I'm like, Leslie's talking to AAA. She jumps in, does it a couple of times.
No. So I'm talking to AAA by the front of the building. Because the sun's setting, it's kind of like beating down on us. There's no AC in the car because we can't get it to turn on. So I go stand under the awning near the front door, and I call AAA. I get everything rolling, and I look up at the building, and I'm just like, do you guys just not want us to leave? And I just had that feeling. I was like, we are gonna be back. Like, we bought the building. The building is ours. We are gonna be here. At least every weekend for the foreseeable future. But we've got kids at home. We've got teenagers. We've got to get home to. I'm a nurse. I work at a hospital. I've got to be at work at 7 o'clock in the morning. Chad has to work. We have to go home. But Chad's coming back like Thursday morning. I'm going to be back either Friday night or Saturday morning. I promise you, we are coming back. You don't have to keep us here. We're coming back. So Chad goes, Leslie, you get in the driver's seat. I want to hear what happens when you try to start the car. He's under the hood.
Yes, I got the hood up. I got my head in there. I'm like, try to start it. Click. I'm like.
So with his car, it's a push to start. When you have the door shut and dash lights come on, engine just goes click. I'm like, so I turn the dash lights off and I open the door, which cuts the power.
It's the reset button. So you open the door and the car will cycle all the way off.
Yeah. So I'm standing there with the door open. My hands are on the steering wheel.
Hood's up.
I'm leaning back. The hood's up. Chad's standing.
I'm standing there just bewildered and dumb.
He's standing on the other side of the door looking at me. We're talking. And I'm just like, we're just going to have to wait for AAA. It's going to be fine. I'll if we can't get a ride home or whatever, I might have to call into work tomorrow. Let's just see what happens. The dash lights come on their own. My hands are on the steering wheel.
I go, what did you do?
I was like, I didn't do anything.
Front lights came on. All the headlights and everything came on the car. I'm like, what'd you do?
I think I didn't do anything. My hands are up like this, and y'all, the car started on its own.
They're like, what the hell? And she goes, what do you want me to do? I'm like, don't turn it off.
I was like, I'm not turning it off.
It's one of those things that I hadn't seen it. I would not have believed it. And then, like, I kicked myself that we didn't have a camera roll.
Well, I think in the power had just turned on, so our dash cam hadn't had enough time to power up and start recording either. So it was not on camera at all.
So did y'all have anything like that happen this weekend? Because I know y'all are back out there this weekend too.
This last weekend, No, it was fine.
No, this past weekend was pretty uneventful. I
Well, I
will
mean,
say
as far as
that,
going home, but
I will say that one of the ladies that was there for the investigation, you and I had come back from dinner. They were already upstairs investigating.
yeah.
We went to the kitchen to put our leftovers in the refrigerator, and we sat right down on the couch in the command center, and that was it. We hadn't gone anywhere. We didn't want to interfere with them or cause any noise or anything like that. It's their investigation time. So we were sitting there just doom scrolling on our phones, and a lady, Linda from Iowa, walks in and goes, "Were y'all upstairs?" I was like, "No." She goes, "You didn't go to the bathroom?" And I said, "No." She goes, "Huh. I just saw a lady walk down the stairs."
Huh.
So maybe it was the lady with the bun. Maybe it's the stair lady. So that was interesting.
It was. It's like,
Now-
I think
we've been here for like 60 seconds.
one of the coolest confirmations that we got was the first Saturday night we were there. There was a group there Friday night, and it seemed like there wasn't a whole ton of activity
It was
happening.
a little quiet.
But what the energy felt curious, but not crazy active. Like they were all just kind of hiding and watching.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't sure what was going on.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So Saturday we did a lot of cleaning between like 11 and 7.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Those videos should be up. But right before we were turning the building over to the team that was there to investigate, we went and walked back because Saturday that you cleaned out Deacon's room and left nothing but Deacon's chair in Deacon's room.
Thank goodness. That is exactly what that room needs to be. That used to be the creepiest room in the building with just that single chair.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
And I tell you what, it changed the energy in that room instantly.
Mm-hmm.
Instantly.
It sure did.
Finally, I got my freaking chair back. Well, we were in the back. We were just kind of walking. We were videoing the
We were
room.
right there by where that box experiment room
Yeah,
was.
we were documenting the rooms, and we were turning off the lights. And I was just like, wait, Chad, just like, hold on. So we just we sat and we had a conversation with anybody who was there listening. We introduced ourselves officially. We explained what our intentions for the building were, that we were there to preserve it, maybe update it a little bit, but mostly just to renovate and repair the things that need to be repaired, clean out the stuff that didn't need to be there, and that it was their home and we were just here to facilitate, maintaining their home, and that they were always welcome, and that we hope that they would welcome us. And we said, listen, we are not here to make money off of this place.
No. You're not our puppets. You're not here to perform for anybody.
No.
But having said that,
it is going to take money to fix the building.
Right.
People come here to visit you. People come here to experience you and your energy, and that the biggest thing you can do to help us keep your home operating and alive is to show up and to give the visitors an experience and to interact with them and answer questions and talk to them and play pranks on them, whatever. Just have
a good time, play pranks on them, have fun,
be present.
Yeah, just be present for them and have a good time at their expense.
And we said we're going to go have dinner, and the other group's going to come in, and I hope you guys have fun tonight.
And we went to our hotel.
No. We turned around.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God.
And it sounded like somebody sat in Deacon's chair and it started rocking.
You can love that.
Freaking. And we were like, okay, thank you. It just kind of hightailed it out of there a little faster than I probably normally would.
So
we show up the next morning, we pull up, and they're kind of loading stuff out to the car, and every one of those ladies comes running out of the building. Oh my God! You're not gonna believe what happened.
So we were just like, oh. They heard us and they're okay with it. They're on board. That was
that's awesome.
It was a great feeling, and I really felt
needed that.
Yeah, because that morning, Saturday morning, we had some
other surprise.
Well, we had a bit of a
meltdown,
a little meltdown.
I'm not gonna lie, it was rough. It was rough.
So
walking in Friday the very first time and seeing the state of the building, I hadn't been there in over a year, and just seeing the
And
changes.
and I'd only been there once.
Over a year.
I'd stopped going.
Yeah.
So,
It was pretty disheartening.
Yeah, we had only gone a couple of times, I think last year.
yeah.
And I think the year before that we'd gone 4 times within that year. And I'm with you. Let's say the state of the building, just started to kind of slip. So we were like, when we had our public people that we would take start complaining, that's when we're like, hey, let's pull back, because we can't, as hosts of an event, feel comfortable enough to say, hey, purchase a ticket, come with us, and then here's the level,
and then expose them to that,
Right.
I mean, and no matter what you want to say, there is an expectation that people have when you buy a ticket to a place that they're expected to stay in overnight, not just investigate, but eventually go to sleep.
Yeah,
right.
There is a certain basic level of expectation, and that was not being met.
Yeah.
Right.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, quick question for you. So, we've talked about t-shirts coming off the wall. We've talked about all of this stuff. How far have y'all gotten so far in this restoration? Like, I mean, as in terms, I guess you could say.
We're still in the cleanup.
We're still in the cleanup process.
Okay.
Like the front of the building's looking pretty decent. We've done a lot of cleanup, a lot of trash out. At this point, upstairs, I have resealed every window upstairs. It is all airtight. I even redid all the door jambs to airtight those.
The exterior door.
The exterior doors, anything that has a way to get air in and out of that building, I have shored up and cleared up. Downstairs, I need to do 2 more windows. I need to check them because I just don't know. It's in that front room window because there's shelves that are kind of like blocking it, so I can't really get to it. And then the parlor room windows, I need to check those. So other than those windows right there, the building has been resealed, recaulked. Yeah, the front part of the building has been resealed, recaulked, weather stripped, weatherproofed. I still need to get on the roof and patch some holes where we have some pretty substantial water leaks in one spot.
Yeah.
But that is something that hopefully I can do this weekend. It's kind of one of my check boxes is to hit the problems and kind of assess whether or not we have to do a whole new roof. So right now it's just, fingers and holes for the boat so it doesn't sink, oh God.
We've sealed up all the windows until we get to the point where we can replace them.
Yeah.
But we've got to stop the air,
Well, dude,
cool.
Like, I can tell you from just what you've sealed up, that place stays so much cooler than it used to. Like,
yeah, and here's the crazy thing. After I got done sealing up Preston's parlor and the poker room and the circle bedroom and bathroom and Jenny's, we can keep the entire upstairs cool on one window unit now.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, like it was 76 degrees upstairs at 4:00 in the afternoon with one unit running. And
dude,
so
that was
a massive difference.
That was 2 years ago. I remember going there and I was like, I'm never coming back here because it was the middle of freaking July, end of July, sorry, beginning of August.
Yeah.
And it never dropped below like 94 in the hallway. And I was like, I am dying. Well,
this will make you happy then. The biggest reason that we're trying to shore up the building as fast as possible is because we have split units to replace all the window units.
Yeah.
So the building will be climate controlled.
Hell yeah.
That is the plan, is to have all of it, not just the front, all of it back to climate control so that we can stop Mother Nature from trying to take it over. Because that's one of the things that helps Mother Nature is the lack of climate control. Because once you kind of pull that out of a building, nature just takes it back over pretty quickly. And so we were kind of getting to that point in some of the back areas where, we have some of the vines climbing up the wall that are now starting to come through window seals and stuff like that. So we got some work in front of us, but it's getting a lot better. That's for sure.
Yeah, we're putting up a good fight.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Chad, too, and this is a question for you. Like, I know you like to dig into the history of places like I do. And there has been some things that you have found as far as history goes with the old park. What's the most surprising thing that you found so far?
That there are a couple of people that have never been mentioned in the history of Old Park. And they're like right off the bat. Hold on. I don't want to lie to you. Let me pull up Excel real quick.
Chad's
Yes, because if you didn't know
let me get my
this-
documentation.
Chad has
Right.
already started this timeline and this tree and an Excel spreadsheet that has it all listed out. Owners, he's got it branched out, connections. He's got the newspaper articles
I've
to
got-
back it up.
He's got the references
And
where he
it-
pulled the information from.
Right. It is 100% verifiable history that Chad has found.
Yeah, so what I'm going to, and this is how I verified it. So if you'd like to double check me yourself, because I'm a peer review person, because that's just my scientific background, is it's all about peer review. If you're going to publish something out there and tell people something, it better be able to be verifiable. And so if you go to the Ballinger Daily Ledger, Volume 8, number 196, on September 3rd, 1913, that is the very first mention of the Old Park, or of the Park Hotel. And it says this: Charles Wilson commits suicide 2 years after his wife committed suicide. He bought poison and drank it, telling the proprietor of the hotel, "I'm going to go work somewhere else," as he died on the steps.
Wow.
Holy
Anybody ever
shit.
hear that story?
No.
I have never heard that.
There you
Well,
go.
then hang on. Then I have to ask then, if that story's never been mentioned, what about Bonnie Parker? Because that's like a big thing. Oh, Bonnie Parker slept here. Oh, Bonnie Parker was in jail. Is there any truth
there
to
is
that?
absolutely zero documentation to back any of that up. So as far as, and I'll tell you what, I'll give $500 for anybody that can give me peer reviewable, documented evidence that Bonnie Parker ever set foot in that hotel. $500.
Okay. Because I had never
anymore.
heard that until that story was told to
Not
me.
forged.
Not faked.
It's got to be verifiable by original sources. It's got to be repeatable. I got to be able to
Published.
publish, documented.
Because you know that woman's history was very well
Scrutinized.
documented.
So
Mhm.
I really don't think she's ever been in the building.
Yeah, by the time she was, what, 4 or 5,
They're
they were
already in
living
Dallas.
in Dallas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean-
why would she ever come back to Rowena or anywhere like that?
Yeah. I mean,
Right.
she didn't
So
even
the
have relatives.
family moved to Dallas. The entire
Yeah.
family moved to
Yeah,
Dallas.
so I'll tell you, because I did an episode over Bonnie and Clyde, and so in the research that I was able to pull, and plus I've been looking into my entire life. By the time she is around, I'm just going to say around because I don't remember exactly. By the time she's around 4 years old, the entire family is
Right.
in Dallas at that point, like living their lives basically. I mean,
Mhm.
that's
There's
what her
nothing
mom
to
was.
go back for. There's nobody left.
There's nothing at that point. She may have been born in Rowena, 8 miles from where Ballinger is at. But as far as going back there, there's nothing.
No
And
reason.
I went pretty far into the books over her and Clyde's history. There was no reason for her to go back that way when the rest of her family was in Dallas. They always,
Right.
that was really truly, besides Clyde's family as well, that was really the only reason they even came back to Dallas, because she was so adamant about going to visit her mother. I need to visit my mother. But it was Dallas. It was always Dallas. It wasn't
What
West
about,
Texas.
but that one picture that they said was Blanche Barrow, that is Blanche Barrow in front of the old park, right?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I
All
don't
right.
think so.
Okay. Cause that's what was told to me, that was Blanche Barrow in front of, and that's the
I
old
don't
park in the
think so. I
background.
mean, and here's the thing. Where is that
Okay.
picture? I mean, there's a printout copy of a picture, but where's the original? Like, who's got the
Mhm.
negative? Who's got the original
I
picture?
think I'm gonna go this.
Sure.
I'm gonna go this far and say this. It is a picture of a woman in front of what appears to be the building of the Old Park Hotel,
Yeah,
because the
absolutely.
same pillars are there, the same windows are there.
Right.
She is obviously seated on the courthouse lawn that looks to be across the street from the Old Park Hotel. So I do
Right.
believe that it is the Old Park in the background, and it is a
Right.
picture of a woman. How do we verify the fact that 100% that is Blanche in the picture? Is the
Yeah.
question.
And that's the kind of thing. It's like if we had an original document, because somebody published that somewhere, whether it was off of a print or if it was scanned from a negative, that's got to exist somewhere. And just the technology of where that came from could give us some insight on
Right.
time period, because we know she was a photographer and owned a photography studio. We know the progression of film's technology. We can pinpoint it. Plus, it's also depending on the maker, which considering the time period, it would have been Kodak.
Right.
They were pretty much the only people making photographic papers
True.
and products at the time. So it's going to be etched in on the negative what year it was, manufactured. So there's some of that we can go off of. But the other thing is we really don't know unless we can get a better quality. Because the only one that I've ever seen of that
Or
picture,
if we can get another picture of
Right.
plants that we can compare. That's
Mhm.
Yeah.
the only thing that I can think of. That's
Well,
the easiest.
that'd be
thing
the
that I can-
easiest to just
I'm gonna-
really compare them.
I'm going to say this. I'm going to put on my genealogist hat for just a second, because if you have a picture of somebody as high profile as Blanche Barrow, you know, in front, that whole gang's life was so heavily documented after the fact. And if there was a picture that existed of these individuals out there that somebody owned, they're going to be able to make a killing off of that. So there's going.
Yeah.
I'm not calling the picture a fake. What I'm questioning is, how do we know 100% verifiable that it is Blanche Barrow in front of the Old Park Hotel? I do believe it is a woman in front of the Old Park Hotel. Yeah. I will say that. I myself am not going to put Blanche Barrow's name on it because I can't verify the sources.
Now, I did not know they weren't able to, that there has never been a negative produced. I assumed. I did not know that. What were you going to say, Chad?
And the other thing is like the only version of that photo that I've ever seen is a photocopy. Like it's literally like a black and white photocopy, and the quality is crap. Like that could be anybody, in my opinion, because it's just so degraded. I don't know.
It's very grainy. So until we can find a better copy of the original, or if we can find a picture of, I guess, Blanche, a known, provable picture of Blanche.
But I tell you what, I will put my money where my mouth is. I will give $500 to anybody that can give me solid, documentable, verifiable, research verifiable proof that they were ever in that hotel.
I can tell you right now,
right?
I can tell you right now, just doing a simple search for both Blanche Barrow, Reynolds County, Blanche Barrow, Ballinger, Texas. I don't see that picture anywhere.
Yeah, because I mean, when people came to town, they said something like this. So January 10th, 1903. Again, this is in the Ballinger Banner Ledger, Volume 21, Number 16. Jim Miller is seen in Ballinger, Texas, and the police are now out trying to find him.
See, and there's another famous outlaw right there.
People there are under damn mouths, so you would think having those people in town, that would have made a headline. That would have been talked. Like,
I think this is great that y'all are that y'all are in chat. I'm gonna say you because you seem to be spearheading the project on it, but that y'all are digging. Leslie's like, no, that's totally him. Okay,
he's like, he cleans. I clean. He researches.
That you're digging so far into it and able to find verifiable sources, because that's one thing that I know a lot of us as paranormal investigators. That's how we check our confirmation on things. If we go off into the side of a building and we're getting the name of Charlie, and there's never been a Charlie associated with the building, where's that coming from? Why? How? Or I don't know. It's just things like that.
We just hear some, two words sounded like our brain made it sound like.
No. Wait a minute. Charlie Manson was here on a Tuesday in April, so I mean, it's just, it's conjecture, and that's for any paranormal location. There's a lot of conjecture about who has, like, what famous historical figure has been here. It's not just. It's all over the place, and it's hard to verify unless there is verifiable actual documentation of them being there.
Yeah. It would be super cool if Bonnie Parker had ever been there, but I'm not going to ruin my credibility or my integrity by saying something that I don't believe is true and that I can't prove is true.
Yeah, even if I'm like pretty sure. I still, like I said, I've got to have a volume and edition number. I've got to have something.
I'm with you.
Like, this was published in this book, so you can go see this photo and it's verified. Okay, great. That's what I'm looking for.
Right.
Show me something where somebody else has corroborated that information to be true.
Right.
It's just not there.
Right. The lore and legend.
Back then, it would have been in the newspaper.
Yeah.
And the lore and legend is cool, but if you can verify that lore and legend, that's even cooler.
Look at Yorktown. We've done an episode over Yorktown, 2 episodes over Yorktown. I went through 40 years of Yorktown newspapers and was not able to verify any of the stories that are being told there. Yes, the folklore, the legend, it's super cool. It makes the building super interesting, and it draws a lot of eyes to the buildings. But as investigators and researchers, we are doing our field no justice whatsoever.
Exactly.
Well,
by spreading
credibility by doing that crap.
We're perpetuating the misinformation.
Right. Exactly. And so how can we ever keep this industry credible if we're continuing to spread false narratives? I mean, that's what we're all about. That's why I flat out said in our Yorktown episodes, I was like, I wouldn't even verify any of this. Now y'all can go and say whatever y'all want to say. Tell the stories. That's cool. But I myself was not able to verify it. You know, so I appreciate that y'all are going that far into it, and not only preserving the building, but preserving the history of it.
Yeah, let's speak one more person's name.
Okay.
So December 15th, which is actually my mom's birthday.
Mm-hmm.
This one's interesting.
1916. This is in the Banner Ledger, volume 36, number 12. E.W. Stokes, who is the proprietor of the Park Hotel at the time, or the Three Sisters, because they used both names in the article. E.W. Stokes is shot and killed by his mistress's husband on the steps of the hotel.
Wait, his mistress's husband. So his mistress had a husband and he had a wife.
He had a wife. Yep.
Got it.
Yeah.
They were doing a little swapping here. Okay.
It only mentions the mistress's husband.
He said, "Hey, so were you playing in my garden?"
Right, I was using the hole real good.
Oh, it ain't easy.
$20 is $20.
My wife ain't a hoe.
Say that name.
2 people that have died on the steps of that hotel so far.
That's
Say
crazy.
that name one more time, Chad.
E.W. Stokes.
Stokes.
Never gotten that.
No.
Yeah. Did any of y'all ever hear about the jailer's son falling off the roof of the courthouse and dying?
No.
Yeah, he was 12 years old. Happened in 1916. Jailer's son, Emmett Conway, fell from the top of the courthouse and died.
Wow.
So,
Now I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to go back and rewatch like spirit die sessions that I've done there now because
Yeah,
if
because you
I've
might have
got,
been getting communicated and not even realized it.
well, if I've gotten these names before, because as soon as you said Stokes, I don't think that I've ever gotten that, but I'm replaying one spirit die session in particular where I do believe that I don't want to say Stokes came up, but that's what I'm remembering for some reason. I need to go find that spirit die session and see if that name came up.
And Chad, what was Octavia's daughter's name that shot herself by accident?
I believe it was Wilma. Hold on.
Wilma.
Okay.
No, it was Wilma. I'm pretty sure it was Wilma. Hold on. Insane man kills himself. There's the
Last
lynching.
name Flintstone.
Where'd it go?
Because I don't think we've even got a Wilma there either, have we? I don't recall ever getting a Wilma.
Yeah, Wilma Colburn. So that was Octavia's maiden name was Colburn. She accidentally shot herself in the left eye at the age of 6. Died right there in the hotel, right over by where the steps are. So,
and I don't think we've ever gotten that.
What is up with these steps, man?
I was going to say, here's the lesson: stay off the damn steps.
Not the front steps.
Sorry, say that one more time.
She died inside the building, not out on the front porch.
The steps inside the building.
So the stairs. She died
the stairs. Okay.
I actually have her death certificate, not just a newspaper article, because it's mentioned in the newspaper article, but I also have it in. I have her actual death certificate. So.
All right. What Paul said.
Yes, I know.
I know. We got.
You want to put it up on the screen?
Wilma Fingerdo. Thanks, Paul.
Y'all need to join us for the Patreon show after this.
Yes.
Oh gosh.
So
I mean,
what are
so much.
so what is so we talked about what y'all are restoring, what y'all have been cleaning out, the tech and everything like that. As a whole, when it's all said and done, what is the overall vision goal that y'all are shooting for the Old Park Hotel?
It's going to be a multi-purpose venue, primarily for the purpose of paranormal investigation. We do want to what's the word I'm looking for? Fix up, build, what
Restore?
remodel. That's the word.
Reinvigorate.
That front parlor, the front room, not the lobby, but the one right next to it by the stairs, into our paranormal library and research center.
Yeah.
And,
So
you can also be used as a seance room. So it's going to be a beautifully decorated kind of old apothecary style room.
it's gonna be awesome.
The lobby is going to be more like a real hotel lobby with the
charm it's got, just nicer. So
yeah, where people will be able to purchase their
there's some little merch and
there's stuff in the works.
There's some stuff in the works.
We'll announce that later.
Yeah. But then just kind of like basically I want this to be a mecca for paranormal investigators to go, if you really want to do solid research, we have all this stuff here. Like let's talk about what's going on in some of the buildings. So we just started our Patreon page. As soon as I can get these cameras up, we're going to have 24/7 streaming of over a dozen cameras that people
13 cameras, 13 reasons why you should join our Patreon.
So those are all going to stream live 24/7. You can watch us renovate. You can see the weird crap because like we want them up as fast as possible because all the stuff that's happening to us while we're renovating has been ridiculous. So just having that watching our back, showing what's going on, that's one thing. The entire building, every single room in that building is going to have an environmental sensor in it. So it's going to be able to detect light changes, motion changes, humidity, temperature, barometric pressure in every single building. So if you're sitting command center, you're going to be able to see that and go, why is that room having motion and we're all in here? Well, let's look at the camera. There's nothing on camera, but there's motion happening in this room right now. Oh, by the way, the temperature in this room has now dropped 5 degrees. Something's happening. So all of this is getting recorded and documented. So it's literally becoming a live-in paranormal experiment that we can review and analyze.
Hell yeah.
Gotta get a geek. Gotta get a geek.
Yeah, you gotta have a geek involved for that shit.
Yep.
Hey, Chad, I want to ask you about one more because I know that you're putting up all these cameras. I want to ask you about what you saw on the Thursday before I showed up, which prompted you to message me.
Yeah, so Shelly wasn't going to show up till the Friday morning because that's when Leslie was thinking she was going to come. This Friday after work. And so I was like, no big deal. And then I'd gotten busy doing cleaning and I went to go use the bathroom. And as I'm getting ready to use the bathroom, I'm going up the stairs and I get about 4 stairs from the top. And Shelly comes walking out of a room and goes to Jenny's room. She just walked from Preston's parlor straight over to Jenny's room. And I stopped and was like, the hell? What? And so
because you hadn't shown up yet.
Yeah, and she hadn't shown up yet. So I went upstairs. I was like, Shelly, did you get in already? Like I literally thought she had gotten there, was like putting stuff up. And so
she wouldn't say hi first.
Yeah. Well, but I had a shop vac going, so who knows? I mean, that thing's running. It's so damn loud. You're dead to the world. So I texted Shelly and said, Shelly, did you get here already? She's like, no. And I said, I just saw your doppelganger then. So, but what's funny is I saw exactly what she was wearing. She walked in the door for real. And I was just like, what is going on? I have no idea what's going on right now. And Shelly's just like, what did I have the ponytail? I was like, yeah, you had the little cheerleader ponytail and everything. Like, and you didn't show up with the ponytail though. You were still hair down until we started getting busy. But you were wearing the same clothes. I was just like, maybe you just manifested yourself here or something. I don't know.
Her Ferdozier.
Yeah,
that one sounds like a Ferdozier.
Yeah.
You and Shelly saw something in the common room too. Y'all saw.
We forget about that.
I forgot about that too. That's a lot of the crap.
Yeah, we were sitting on opposite couches, and I saw it come from the kitchen and go to the lobby, and she saw it from about halfway through the common room into the lobby. But it was about the size of a volleyball. It didn't stay round. It was kind of like doing this kind of a thing, and it just kind of went like this. And as it got to the front lobby, then you hear the footsteps all the way all the way around.
Literally
the corner.
sounded like it stopped. It like the light went into the lobby, and it did like this turn, and then all of a sudden it sounded like footsteps.
Yeah, and
going
at the exact
straight to the
time,
stairs.
Yeah, exact same time. Jaws all the way down here. Me and Shelly come back and meet eyes, and same time we go, did you see that?
And I showed up like an hour later.
Yeah, then you showed up an hour later. I'm like, oh my god! This is so cool. So much crap is happening. This is amazing.
Well, Chad, what about because when I got there late that Friday night, we went down to the unfinished portion on the top floor, and there's that aluminum foam board with the aluminum flashing on the outside.
I was with you on that one.
Right. Yeah, me and you and Shelly were standing in the hallway and we're talking, and on the reflection from the aluminum foam board, you can see something walk past us. We didn't see it in the moment, in the middle of us, but you could see the reflection on the board.
Coming right up towards me.
We just kind of, what the hell was that?
Yeah, what was that? And then Shelly's arm,
we're not making a reflection.
No, and she got goose pimples immediately, and then we heard that woman start mumbling whatever she was mumbling.
Yeah, whole conversation I guess we're just back there doing business, $20.
I guess so.
What's so crazy is that there's so much that's happened in such a short amount of time since we've been there, and all we're doing is cleaning. What's it going to be like when we actually start the renovation?
Right.
Yeah.
They're going to be happy to have a beautiful, clean home.
Yeah. I'm interested to see what happens when we do a little bit of foundation work, because so priorities, roof, foundation. Once foundation goes in, we can actually start doing some real construction projects because we'll have things squared. You don't want to do any construction before you mess with your foundation. Otherwise, you're going to have to redo everything you just did.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine what's going to happen when we start, leveling the foundation back out to get the floors flat again. Holy crap. Like, talk about, that's the soul of a house, essentially, is the foundation. So,
yeah.
Woo.
So everybody's going to want to be on Patreon for that.
or come.
Absolutely.
We're going crazy. So,
yeah, it's pretty exciting. It's very exhilarating. It's magical. We're really, really relieved that the building seems to be accepting of our presence there and of the work that we're doing.
And we plan on getting them involved in stuff. So some of the stuff you're going to see on our YouTube channel and stuff like that is us basically setting up an experiment. It's like, what paint color do you like? What does this need to stay? Does this need to go? Yes, no. Like, we're going to try to involve them as much as possible in the decisions on what we do when we finally start getting to the projects, like helping us pick out stuff and do things. So we want that. We absolutely want them to have their voices heard. And so we're going to give them every opportunity to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely think you're going about it the right way, just because, you've walked in, you've introduced yourself, you're like, hey, this is what we're doing, and then allowing them a little bit of input as well. As y'all have already said in this episode, it's their home, and y'all are the facilitators of that, and I love that. I think that's
it is not ours, it is theirs. We're just the stewards for however long we happen to have it, our lifetime or whatever happens. That's how it goes. So,
and I think the spirits are wonderfully receptive to the care you have already taken.
So, and and I don't know if anybody else has felt this, but over the last year and a half or so, it really kind of
got dark.
Felt like we were getting some negativity from the place. Like it just kind of seemed dark. I tell you what, after that first weekend, I haven't felt any of that.
No, not at all.
I haven't either.
It feels like a different place.
Perfect timing on that, because the question I just put up was, so nothing negative has come y'all's way so far since owning. So perfect answer.
I would say that the misfortunes that I've had were not a negative connotation of something. No. I think that was my own because I had a kidney stone before. And so after you have one, you got basically an 85% rate of having another one. So the odds were not in my favor. It's just a matter of time.
But the building made sure you weren't alone, Chad. The building made sure you weren't alone.
It didn't want me alone.
Playing more of a protective role than anything.
Yeah. And that's what's crazy is it really did seem like the building's like, no, you guys can't leave. Shit's about to go wrong and you need to be here for this.
Well, and then, so that was Sunday into Monday. So Monday.
Here's something y'all don't know.
Yeah. We haven't really published too much about yet. Melissa, who's another good friend of ours, she had only been to the park, to the old park with part of a teenager group and hadn't been there and with an adult investigation. So Chad invited that she was going to be part of the teenage group that was coming Tuesday night, but Chad invited her out Monday night just to do her own solo.
Yeah, I was like, have the building. You've done so much work for us. Go have the building while we, do nothing. So just enjoy it.
Go have fun investigating, whatever you want. I left to go home because Chad was better. So I'm back in Kennedale. This is Monday night to Tuesday morning. I get a call or a text message Tuesday morning as my alarm for work is going off at 4:45 in the morning. Chad going, I need to go back to the hospital. Yeah. Something's very wrong. Had Chad not had Melissa there,
I would have been alone.
Yeah, he would have been alone.
Again.
Luckily, Melissa was there and she was able to take you to the ER. Thankfully, nothing was wrong. It was just,
residual.
Yeah. But they got your pain and everything under control and calmed your nerves because it was scary to be in that much pain and not know for sure what was going on.
I woke up on the couch because Melissa didn't want to sleep by herself, so I slept on the other couch. She slept on that couch, and so I woke up and I was like,
yeah.
What was crazy is I was having dreams that there were 5 people, and I don't know who these people are, but I was having these dreams that people are just going, hey, wake up, wake up. wake up. And like, it was getting annoying in my dream. It was like lucid dreaming. So I was aware that I was dreaming, and I was like, this is bullshit. I'm trying to sleep. And then my eyes open and I'm looking across, and it's the exact same view that I had, but the people aren't there. And all of a sudden I feel the pain. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to die. Like,
Melissa told us that she kept hearing somebody walking around, like somebody was up walking around in the lobby, and she thought that it was like 8 o'clock in the morning, and Chad was already up and moving around.
Yeah,
and she was getting ready to wake up because she thought it was about 8 o'clock in the morning. And then all of a sudden, Chad's waking her up, and she realized it's barely 5 o'clock in the morning.
The ER.
Yeah. So she was hearing people moving around. It was later. Chad had somebody trying to wake him up. So yeah, it was very interesting. So maybe she heard them
walking around like doing stuff, but it was crazy that they woke me up because I was so asleep I didn't realize I had that kind of pain. And when I woke up, boy,
yeah, he was hobbled over. He reenacted it for me.
It was bad. It was real bad.
Hobbled over to Melissa. You need to go to the ER.
Help me. Well, I'm going to tell you guys that I know personally, I am very happy that you guys are the new owners of the Old Park. I think you're going to do an amazing job with it. I think that you guys, you already have for this building. We have a love for that building, and EVP's here to help you out. However you need it, all you got to do is say the word, and we're going to come and do whatever you need us to do. But before we end this up, I want to make sure that you can tell them everywhere they can find you and where they can go and watch these restoration videos and cleanup videos at. And make sure throw in your Patreon, because aren't you going to have the full videos, not time lapsed, with commentary and everything on those potentially?
The spicy commentary.
The uncut version,
the unedited. Yes, the unedited version. So tell them everything they need to know about you guys, Chad.
The Greek version, uncut.
Unfiltered commentary.
Yeah. So the Patreon is the Patreon / Olde Park Hotel. Same thing on Facebook. We're the Haunted Olde Park Hotel on Facebook. Instagram, same thing. On YouTube, it's Olde Park Hotel. You can find us all there. The website will be oldparkhotel.com, which as soon as I get done here, I got to go flip a couple switches, and the website, I believe, will be live. So,
and of course, Ghost Geeks. Ghost Geeks?
Huh?
I think Ghost Geeks.
Oh, and Ghost Geeks is theghostgeeks.com. So if you want to buy tech and stuff, you can buy it there. We'll have a shop set up for the Ghost Geeks. You can go there and do stuff like that.
There you go.
Close enough.
Yeah.
So that's the Ghost Geek stuff. It just kind of like upcoming events. July 19th, the jail is across the street's turning 100 years old. They're having a big party out there. We're going to be opening up the hotel for free tours all day. So starting at 2 o'clock, you can come take a tour of the hotel if you want to. And then we're doing an after party investigation that starts at 9, because they said they're closing the festivities for the jail are ending at about 8:30. So figure 30 minutes after that, it should be quieted down. So investigation to start. Tickets are on sale on the site. Come out, super cheap, $45 a person. This is just to come have fun. Who knows what's going to happen with the birthday party across the street and all the renovations we're doing in the building. So might be crazy.
Can I tell you something we're excited about is next year the hotel will be 140 years old.
Oh, snap.
Yeah. So we're very excited to celebrate that birthday with the hotel.
There's going to be some big events. Also, you should know that when Patreon goes live, at the end of every year, there is going to be a Patreon exclusive party. So if you're not a Patreon member, don't even bother asking to go.
There you go. All right. Well, that's
and for those of you that have been to some of our parties, Shelly, Ryan, you know what we do.
It's a lot of fun to go become a Patreon member.
Yeah, we own a production company, so we have all the lighting, DJ gear, all that stuff. Like, we can throw an event.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. And Blake, with that, what do they need to know about us?
All right, sounds good. Well, if you want to support the show directly, you can check out our Patreon page. Yeah, we're going to throw 2 Patreon pages on you on this episode. It's going to be linked in our Linktree link tomorrow morning on our X and Facebook profiles. And just for $5 a month, you will unlock well over 450 Patreon exclusive videos, including the pre and post broadcast, which are the 30 minutes before and the 30 minutes after this broadcast. You never know. You may see an extended interview with Chad and Leslie on this week's. You never know. If they say yes, we might ask them later on. You don't know. But if you're not sure... Well, if you're not sure about joining our Patreon, you can try it risk-free with our 7-day free trial. Make sure you stay connected with us. Follow us on Facebook, YouTube, many more by searching Everything Vaguely Paranormal and looking for that green sound wave, or by clicking those icons in our link tree. Remember, you can catch us live every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook and YouTube. And if you would like to meet us in person, you have just a few more choices coming up for the rest of this year. We will be at the Paranormal Rockdown at Broadhead Manor in Broadhead, Wisconsin on July 18th through the 19th. I believe you can get tickets both online and at the door, but they're cheaper if you prepay them. I'll tell you that. It's going to be paranormalrockdown.com, I believe, or rockdown.com. I don't know. Anyways, go find Broadhead Manor on Facebook. Yeah. They'll have all the information. You can also catch us at Gettysburg Battlefield Bash from July 25th through the 27th in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. And then we are off to KC Paracon August 2nd in Kansas City. Then up to Vernal, Utah for Phenomicon 2025, September the 3rd through the 6th. And rounding out, we will be at the Rock Island Roadhouse Esoteric Expo on October 4th in Rock Island, Illinois. So make sure you also subscribe to our Eventbrite page to be notified when public investigation tickets go on sale. We are grateful for your continued support. Every like, comment, share, and download keeps the adventures alive. So if you have a favorite episode, make sure you share it with your friends and tag us. And if you have a story, comment, or question, or you'd like to have us as guests on your show, you can email those requests, comments, stories over to the evppod@gmail.com. That is THEEVPPOD@gmail.com.
Go like, share, and subscribe to that YouTube page, please. And please make sure you go and thumbs up the EVP YouTube page and the Olde Park Hotel YouTube page.
And Ghost Geeks.
And Ghost Geeks wasn't quite done yet, but that's cool. And make sure that you turn on those notifications so every time any of them go live, perhaps with live cleaning videos or our stuff, that you're notified immediately and you don't miss anything. So we want to thank you guys for joining us tonight. Thank you very much to our very special guests, Chad and Leslie Wandel, the new owners of the Olde Park Hotel in Ballinger, Texas. For me, I'm Shelley Pruitt, my partners in the paranormal, Mr. Blake Smith and Mr. Ryan Roberts. Thank you for being here. And as always, we will see you next Tuesday. Bye-bye.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.